Hey everyone, my name is Darius and today I'll be presenting you how to create, deploy and manage autonomous AI agents using the Eliza Framework on MultiversX. Before getting into the tutorial, let's see some of the core functionalities of this framework, shall we? First, as you can see, we have the ability to define multiple AI agent personalities using the character system. Then, we can run the agents in parallel with a single app. We also have a memory system used for long-term memory and context awareness. The framework also includes different kinds of media processing, like document analysis, image generation, voice mode, and so on. And it also has seamless connectivity with social media platforms like X, formerly Twitter, Discord, Telegram, and others. And the best part, on top of the features I mentioned, we can extend Eliza with multiple other features using the plugin system. But now, let's see how to actually set up Eliza, shall we? Here you can see all the prerequisites. The ones I highlighted are the minimum requirements. The optional ones are Git, which is used for version control, and the CUDA toolkit, which is used for GPU acceleration. This is in case you want to use a local model as the base for your agent. In my case, I already installed the prerequisites and I'm on a PC that uses Windows 11 as the operating system. I made this choice because it's the most used OS and I really wanted the tutorial to be as general as possible, but the setup remains pretty much the same for other operating systems like Linux and macOS. Now, let's head over to their GitHub page. And as you can see, there's lots of activity and new versions are coming up every few days. Today, we'll use the latest available version, 0.1.7, and I'll recommend you to use the latest one available when you actually set it up. But make sure to check it's a stable version, as the alpha versions, like you can see these ones, are intermediary releases and tend to have problems. First, we'll clone the repo using Git, but you can also download the source code of the version you want directly from GitHub. Like right here. This is why I mentioned that Git is optional. Okay, I actually prepared the terminal here. So if we git clone and hit enter. Okay, now it's cloning it. Perfect. Now that we successfully cloned the repo, we'll head into the Eliza directory. Let's actually see it. Yes, here it is. Okay, and now we need to install all the required packages. And for this, we'll run the command pm install no frozen log file. This is the command. We'll hit enter. Now, this will take a while, so I'll be right back after everything is successfully installed. Now that everything has been successfully installed, we need to build our app using the command pnpm build. And let's hit enter. Now that both the installation and build are complete, the first thing we need to do is take care of the environment configuration file. In this case, the devs provided us with an example file which is named .env.example. We'll copy its contents into the .env file. Now let's open the project in VS Code and take a closer look at this file and the project in general. Okay, let's actually search for the file. Here it is, .env. And as you can see, it contains all the environment variables that we can configure. In this tutorial, we'll mainly focus on the OpenAI API key as we'll be using GPT-4o Mini as our model. Now, I'll generate an OpenAI secret key and then I'll be back in a minute. Now that we've configured the environment variables, let's get to the good part and create some agents, shall we? From this point on, there are two main ways to configure the agents and play around with them. The most straightforward way is to head into the characters directory, right here, and as you can see you have multiple JSON files. These are example character JSON files and you can take them as inspiration and create your own agent. And then you can start the app using this configuration. This is a great start for beginners, but in this video we'll focus on a second way of doing things that allows us to dive much deeper into the customization and changing the behavior of our agents. For this, we'll head into the agents directory, right here, and into the source directory, and as you can see here, the main source code file is called index.ts. This is the primary code file that we care about regarding agents. Here, you can see the default character being imported, and if we search for it, we can see that it's used in list data structures, which means we can actually define multiple agents and add them to the list and start them in parallel. We have one here and one here, so there are two places we need to modify. Now let's create our own agent that will replace the default one. We'll go here in the agent directory, new file, and we'll call it tesla character.ts. In this case, I prepared the configuration for an agent that's a meme version of the legendary inventor Nikola Tesla. Let me get it. Now, let's analyze the file a bit. As you can see, I imported the character and model provider name, which allows us to define a custom character. In this case, I called it Cracked Nikola Tesla. And as model provider, as I mentioned earlier, we use OpenAI. And the model, GPT-4o Mini. You can see here all the key value pairs for the system prompt, the bio of the agent, the lore, the knowledge, and for all this you can find the documentation on the Eliza page. Now that we have this character file, we can go back to the index file and replace the default character with ours. First, let's go to all the way to the top, and we shall import it. There we go, we imported the Tesla character, and now we need to replace all the instances of default character with the Tesla character. There we go, and just to mention it again, here if you have multiple agents, you can just duplicate this line, push another agent, and it's all good. And the same thing here, instead of the default agent, we replace with Tesla character, and if you want to add multiple characters, you just add a comma and add another one, like the default one or whatever you want to call it. Finally, now that everything is set up, let's actually start the server and see what happens. We can do this using the command pnpm start. Now that the server started, we need a client to connect to it. As you can see here in the output, it tells us that to start the client, you need to run the command pnpm start client. And we'll do exactly that. Okay, the client started as well. Now let's check it out. There we go. Now, as you can see, we can now choose the agent we want to interact with. In this case, it's the only one we defined earlier, the Cracked Nikola Tesla. But if you define multiple agents, they would show up here and you would be able to choose the one you want to interact with. Now, let's select this one and let's head over here to chat. As you can see, there's no messages yet. Now, let's actually ask the agent, hey, how are you doing? And if you take a look at the server as well, let's see. See, the agent received the message and is generating text. And here we go. Perfect, it responded. So our agent is working. Now that we got a working agent, in the next video we'll explore the available clients and the plugin system of the Eliza Framework, and I'll show you how you can make this agent more interesting, like fully autonomous, and make it interact with the external world, and especially with the MultiversX blockchain. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.